You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about Project B, the overseas international league that is coming your way starting at the end of the WNBA season next year. Is there going to be a WNBA season? Project B may be seeing that as an opportunity. I think we all know Unrivaled sees it as a potential opportunity, which is still amazing that we have two co-founders that's part of the Players Association as vice presidents. That's neither here nor there. We all know that's a conflict of interest. Now we have the sports media coming right out and saying it. We've got one that's saying Project B is most definitely a threat to Unrivaled. And I can't imagine how you want to play off-season basketball? We'll pay you 9 times, minimum 9 times the amount of money you're making right now. And playing at the same time. I mean, what are we, you really believe these players are going to be like, yeah, I can play in one little circle of location, or I can go over there and make 9 times more money. They're going to shoot the deuce faster. Unrivaled, I believe, is in a lot of trouble. Even if this league only lasts 3 years, players are going to go over there and bank and get out. All right? If anything, it'll cause some players to go over there and play a couple of years and then come back. Can Unrivaled even survive during that time? We have another reporter that's coming out and saying this thing's going to be a threat to Unrivaled and the WNBA. Yesterday, I did a video, former MVP, Angel McCautry, she come right out and said, you're going to have women that are like, why even play in the WNBA? If I can make that much more money, what are we doing? Why are we even putting because in a player like her situation where she was like a 6-time All-Star, she's probably getting $5, $6, $7, $8 million to play over there for one season. So why risk it? You know? So right here, Front Office Sports, not the biggest Annie Constable fan, but I do think she's spitting a little bit of truth here.
The same window, which we know is at the end of the WNBA season, leading up to training camp and the preseason. And so there's questions to be answered regarding exclusivity. We know that Unrivaled has exclusivity for its players during its 10-week season, which makes sense. You obviously don't want players playing in your league and somewhere else. That's unheard of.
Right.
But what we don't know is what Project B's exclusivity will be. So is there a potential for a player to play with Project B during the November, December, potentially early January month, and then join Unrivaled, or would it be a strict Project B only? And the other thing to think about right now is that Unrivaled has a number of players signed to multi-year deals, which could limit who is able to commit to playing for Project B. Obviously, we see Alyssa Thomas has committed. She's an Unrivaled player, so that's an indication, okay, she's not signed to a multi-year deal because she's opting to join Project B. So I think it's really a question of what players are committed to multi-year deals and where does exclusivity lie. But I mean, just big picture, this is a threat. This is definitely going to disrupt the women's basketball ecosystem. It's just a matter of how much.
Okay. It is a threat. You heard it right there. It's going to be really interesting. This is going to turn out to be one of the more interesting stories. I think it's very interesting that Angel Reese is not playing in Unrivaled. All right, that she's not playing another season in Unrivaled. You know, Asia decided not to go. Caitlin didn't. Sophie didn't. And we're talking, let's be real, Sabrina Ionescu didn't. Well, didn't I literally just name off what? The 5 most popular players in the entire league. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? And Angel and Sabrina played in Unrivaled last year. They said, nah, we're not doing it this year. So here's a Yahoo senior basketball analyst talking about Project B.
Has signed with Project B, a new women's professional basketball league set to launch in November of 2026. Project B players will receive an undisclosed salary plus an equity stake in the league. Project B league officials have stated that 66 people will earn higher salaries than those currently offered in the WNBA, with a potential WNBA lockout. You have a great column out there on the ambitious plan of Project B. What's it mean for the W, though, Jay?
It means a threat. It means a real serious threat, because the WNBA has spent so many years, so many decades now as kind of the only game in town in terms of professional basketball in the United States, that they were vulnerable. They were vulnerable to what the tech industry would call disruption. And you're seeing that. You're seeing it with Unrivaled. And now you're seeing another potential threat with this Project B, which is, that's a working title. That's not the actual name of this new endeavor. But the idea is very similar to pay WNBA players a higher salary, give them an equity stake in the league, and expose them to a global audience, not just a domestic one.
Okay, Jay, so humor me for a second. Obviously, if I was going to start a league to compete with the NFL, that's impossible. There's no way I could accumulate enough talent to do it. The league to compete against the NBA, probably also impossible. But if I want to create a new league for women to play basketball in and take down the W, I could make the argument that all I have to do is offer a wild amount of money to, 10 players, and then get everybody else to come in. What prevents somebody from just coming in and saying, fine, I'll give Caitlin Clark $250 million up front, and I'll build a whole league around her with these 10 stars, and nobody's going to need the W.
Man, I'm in with you. If we could find somebody to give us $250 million, we should do that ourselves and start a third rival league. That's exactly it. And the WNBA is that may be a sticking point in terms of future contract negotiations and CBA negotiations in terms of playing in other venues. The NBA doesn't let you do that. The PGA Tour doesn't let you do that. But the WNBA does. And as we've seen, many, many players will go overseas to make money outside of the regular WNBA season. Now,
okay, I'm going to stop it right there, but that's going to be a very interesting piece of the CBA. There had been talks already going back to players coming out around the All-Star break. Maybe it was even Gabby Williams, I think, that might have made the comment about they want to see Unrivaled go away. The WNBA. They want to make it where players are not playing for Unrivaled. I don't blame them. However, if you're a WNBA player in the league, in this CBA, wants to put it in there that you can't play for another league, as much money as this league is going to pay, that's going to get very interesting, because I could see the players going, no, we know this league is coming, and they're going to pay a whole lot of money. Again, the 11th person on the bench, $2 million. They're going to pay a lot of money. We're not agreeing to the idea that we can't play in another league. And what is that going to do to the CBA? Does that prevent them from coming to an agreement and leading to a lockout of some kind? Because these players might be like, there ain't no way in hell I'm agreeing to that. By the way, somebody had reached out to me on social media a couple of months ago and said that Project B was going to get a different name. I had heard Worldwide Basketball Association or something like that. I don't know that that's staying. Okay, I don't even know if that's related, because there's said to be a fourth league that's possibly floating around out there eventually. And I'm not talking about Athletes Unlimited either. Tell me what you think. Ooh, this is about to get dicey. Dicey and spicy. Peace, I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.